We are tackling the Manitou Incline,
Oh, yeah.
a Colorado challenge that is definitely not for the faint of heart.
Nope.
So picture this. A mile, straight up,
Straight up.
almost 3,000 steps,
Yeah.
gaining 2,000 feet of elevation.
It's a lot.
Essentially, a former railway turned ultimate stairmaster. I mean, just brutal.
It is. It really is. And people come from all over just to kind of test themselves against this thing.
Oh, I bet. And you know what? Our listener is thinking about joining those ranks in early March.
That's right.
So we've got 2 itineraries to kind of guide us through this adventure.
Yeah, 2 great sources.
But, and there's always a but,
There's always a but.
there is one little detail discrepancy, and we will definitely get to that because it could make or break your hike.
Absolutely got to watch out for those little details.
We'll cover everything you need to know.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, for someone who's never even been to Colorado,
Right.
what's that arrival vibe like?
Well, okay, so first things first. You're going to fly into Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Or, drive if you are already in the area.
Yeah.
Denver's about an hour and a half away. But keep this in mind. Even Colorado Springs is already 6,000 feet above sea level. Wow. So that is something that anybody coming from lower elevations is going to need to consider right away.
Okay, so altitude's a factor before we even hit the trail.
Big time.
Do these itineraries take that into account for like day one? What do they say?
Absolutely. They both stress acclimating, resting, and hydrating like as soon as you land.
Oh, wow.
They even go so far as to suggest hotels based on like your vibe.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you're looking for something historic
Okay.
and walkable to Manitou Springs, they suggest the Cliff House at Pikes Peak.
Okay.
But if you prefer something more modern, downtown, there's the Antlers, a Wyndham Hotel.
Gotcha. Now, hold on.
Yeah.
Manitou Springs, Colorado Springs. Are we talking like the same place? I'm a little confused.
Ah, good catch.
Yeah.
So Manitou Springs, it's like this quirky little mountain town.
Right outside Colorado Springs.
Okay.
And it actually sits even higher, closer to 6,500 feet.
Oh, wow.
So spending some time there on day one, walking around, it's actually going to help you acclimate even more before even thinking about the incline.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so day one, easing into the altitude.
Exactly.
But what about prepping for the actual hike itself?
So both itineraries have you fueling up
Okay.
at this great little spot, Adams Mountain Cafe.
Okay,
And it's all about healthy, hearty meals, things that are going to set you up for success.
that makes sense.
So think like orange jam French toast or a southwestern quinoa bowl, something like that.
Sounds delicious, actually.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Then it's off to Mountain Chalet
Okay.
in Colorado Springs to gear up.
Now, is there anything, any must-have gear
Oh, yeah.
that they specifically recommend, especially for early March?
Yeah, so early March can be kind of tricky on the incline.
Yeah.
It's going to have snow and ice at the higher elevations.
Makes sense. So both itineraries really emphasize microspikes
Okay.
for traction, essential if you want to stay safe on those steep, potentially slippery steps.
Yeah, no kidding. Wouldn't want to slip on, what is it, a 68% grade.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, I know the incline is steep,
Oh, yeah.
but what does grade actually mean for
Yeah.
people who, don't hike a lot like myself?
Right. So it's a measure of steepness.
Okay.
Basically, a 68% grade means that for every 100 feet you move forward,
Okay.
you're climbing 68 feet vertically.
It's basically a wall.
It is. It's essentially a wall of steps.
Wow. Okay, I'm starting to get how intense this is.
Oh, yeah.
This is no joke.
No joke at all.
And that's why, after gearing up,
Yeah.
both itineraries are really stressing rest and hydration.
Big time.
Yeah.
That downtime is crucial
Gotcha.
for your body to actually adjust to the altitude.
So take it easy, drink lots of water, and then what? Are we talking carb loading for dinner or something?
You bet. They recommend the skirted heifer for their gourmet burgers, especially the heifer burger, which is packed with protein and carbs
Oh, nice.
to prep those muscles for the climb.
I like it.
Huh.
Then it's an early night, aiming for a good 8 hours of sleep.
You got it.
Man, if I didn't know better, I'd think this was like a training montage for some athletic competition.
Well, in a way it is. The
Mhm.
Manitou Incline demands respect
Right.
and preparation.
Makes sense.
And, we'll delve into the actual climb itself
Yeah.
next time.
Bet.
And trust me, that's where things get really interesting.
All right. I can't wait.
A clap.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Day 2, the big day actually taking on this Manitou Incline. I'm guessing it's an early start.
Oh, yeah. Super early. Both itineraries have you up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
with a light breakfast and trail snacks packed.
Okay.
They also really emphasize dressing in layers.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking early March in the mountains, so temperatures could swing from like the 30s in the morning to the 60s later on.
That's a huge swing.
It is.
Okay, so We are bundled up, fueled up, ready to go.
Yeah.
How do we even get to this beast of a trail?
Right. You've got options,
Okay,
driving yourself or taking a shuttle.
gotcha.
If you are driving, there are two main parking areas.
Mhm.
The Hiawatha Gardens lot is a bit further out, but it has a free shuttle to the trailhead, and it costs $1 an hour to park.
Okay.
Then there's the Iron Springs Chateau lot, which
Yeah.
is closer but costs $15 for the day.
Decisions. Okay, so we are parked, maybe shuttled, and then is it just a straight shot up those almost 3,000 steps?
Not so fast.
Oh.
Remember those reservations we talked about?
Yes.
This is where things get a bit tricky.
Okay.
One itinerary says you absolutely have to be at the trailhead by 6:30 a.m. to check in with your reservation.
Okay.
The other just suggests starting the hike around that time.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah,
That's a pretty big difference.
it is.
What if someone shows up thinking they're good to go and they're actually late for their slot?
That's a good point. That's why it's always best to double check.
Right.
Look at the official Manitou Incline website or contact the Colorado Springs reservation system directly.
Okay.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
I agree completely. All right, so let's assume we're all checked in, ready to go. It's early March. Could still be icy up there. Do these itineraries talk about safety at all?
They do.
Okay.
This thing sounds intense.
It does.
They definitely stress knowing your limits.
Okay,
Altitude can really impact your performance, even if you're fit.
right.
They recommend pacing yourself, taking breaks, and not being afraid to use those bailout points.
Bailout points. Tell me more about those.
Sure.
Is that like tapping out of the challenge?
Well, kind of think of them as safety valves.
Okay.
They're located at ties number 395 and number 1300
Okay.
and connect to the Ute Pass Trail, which is a much less intense way down if the incline becomes too much.
Okay.
Maybe you're feeling the altitude fatigue sets in, or you realize you're short on time.
Right. So you're not failing if you use them. You're just being smart about your own well-being.
Exactly. And another safety point, emergency response can take 3 to 4 hours on the incline.
Oh, wow.
So being prepared with extra water snacks and letting someone know your plans is crucial.
Okay. All good reminders. Back to the climb itself.
Right.
What should someone mentally prepare for on this mile straight up?
Okay, picture this. You're climbing what feels like an endless staircase. The average grade is 41%,
Okay.
meaning for every 100 feet forward, you're climbing 41 feet vertically.
Gotcha.
But there are sections that hit a whopping 68% grade.
Whoa, that's practically a vertical wall.
Yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks to my high school gym class stair workouts.
Funny you should say that because pre-trip training with stairs or incline hikes is highly recommended.
Okay, makes sense.
Most hikers take about 2 hours to reach the top.
Wow.
But it could take anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours depending on your fitness level.
Okay.
So that's a pretty big range.
Yeah, it is. And just to paint the picture, what are we looking at around us as we're climbing?
Yeah, so you're surrounded by pine forests. But as you ascend, the views start to open up.
Okay.
You can see the city of Colorado Springs below and Pikes Peak looming in the distance.
Nice.
It's truly breathtaking, and that's what keeps a lot of people going.
Yeah, so there is a payoff for all that pain.
Oh, yeah.
But wait, there's something about a false summit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you think you're there, but you're not.
Exactly. The infamous false summit.
Okay.
You climb about 2,000 steps, and there's this flat area that makes you think you've reached the top.
Oh, no.
But nope, you still have another 700 steps to go.
Oh, man.
It's a good reminder that mental toughness is just as important as physical strength on the Manitou Incline.
Okay. I'm mentally and physically exhausted just hearing about it.
Mm.
So we reach the real summit, take in those amazing views.
Mm.
How do we get that? Do we have to go back down all those stairs?
Definitely not. It's way too steep and dangerous to descend the incline itself.
Okay, good.
Both itineraries recommend taking the bar trail,
Okay.
which is about 2.5 to 3 miles long and winds its way gradually down the mountain.
Okay, so a gentler descent through the forest.
Right.
And what's waiting for us at the bottom besides a sense of accomplishment?
Well, both itineraries highly recommend Rasta pasta
Okay.
for a post-hike meal.
Nice.
It's known for its hearty, carb-heavy dishes, perfect for refueling those muscles. The Jamaican jerk chicken pasta is a popular choice.
Now that's my kind of reward.
Yeah,
And after all that, I'm guessing some serious R&R is in order.
absolutely. Head back to your hotel, take a long hot shower, and just relax.
I like it.
But if you have some energy left and want to soak in more of the area's beauty, One itinerary suggests a stroll through the Garden of the Gods.
Oh, yeah?
It's a natural park with incredible red rock formations.
Okay.
Totally different from the incline experience,
Right.
but equally stunning.
I've heard amazing things about it.
Yeah.
And of course, no epic adventure is complete without a celebratory dinner.
Right. Both itineraries recommend the Manitou Brewing Company.
Nice.
They've got great craft beers, and their green chili mac and cheese is supposed to be legendary.
That sounds like the perfect way to toast a successful climb. Now we've covered the journey up and down the incline.
Right.
But I know there are some essential details still to come.
Oh, yeah.
Things that could make or break the entire experience.
You're right. We need to talk about parking weather and some specific insider tips.
Okay.
We'll cover all of that right after. Well, we're not taking a break, are we?
Nope. We are powering through just like we are tackling this Manitou Incline ourselves.
Let's do it.
All right. So we've covered, the training montage that is day one,
Right.
the epic climb of day two, even that victory feast.
Yeah.
But now it's time for those nitty-gritty details that
Right.
can really trip people up.
Absolutely. The things that most people only realize once they're already there.
Yeah.
Like parking.
Yes. Parking. Very important.
We mentioned the Hiawatha Gardens lot with the free shuttle and then the Iron Springs Chateau lot, which is closer.
Right.
But anything else people should be aware of?
Yeah. One itinerary specifically warns against parking on Ruxton Avenue.
Okay.
Unless you have a residential permit.
Oh, gotcha.
Apparently, parking enforcement is really strict.
Yeah, makes sense.
And you don't want to come back from conquering the incline
Right.
to find a ticket on your car.
No, definitely not.
Talk about a buzzkill.
Exactly. It's all about respecting the area and parking where you're supposed to.
Absolutely.
Now, another thing that can really throw people off, especially in early March,
Oh, yeah.
is the weather.
Yeah, we touched on dressing in layers.
Right.
But what are we talking about specifically? Could it actually snow on us while we're climbing?
It's possible.
Oh, wow.
Early March in Colorado, you just never know.
Right.
You could have sunshine one minute and snow flurries the next.
Oh, man.
One itinerary emphasizes checking that forecast
Okay.
religiously
Gotcha.
before you head out.
So even if it's, sunny and beautiful at the base,
Right, exactly.
conditions at the top could be totally different.
Absolutely. Totally different world up there.
Okay, so layers are key. We've got to be prepared for anything.
You got it.
What about those micro spikes?
Yes.
Are those really necessary if it's not, actively snowing?
If there's any chance of ice on the trail, I would say absolutely bring them.
Okay.
Even a small patch of ice on a 68% grade can be really dangerous.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Think of those micro spikes as like your insurance policy for a safe and successful climb.
Okay, and speaking of safety, one thing that really stood out to me in both itineraries was the emphasis on those emergency response times.
Oh, yeah.
They mentioned it could take 3 to 4 hours to get help.
Wow. Yeah.
If something happens on the incline,
That's a long time.
is a long time.
Which is why they really stress packing extra water and snacks,
Right.
letting someone know your hiking plans,
All right.
and, most importantly, knowing your limits.
Yeah.
Altitude sickness is a real concern.
Right.
It can hit even the most experienced hikers.
So even if you're in great shape,
Right.
this hike demands a healthy dose of humility.
Exactly. Don't let your ego push you beyond your capabilities.
Good advice.
If you start feeling unwell, don't hesitate to turn back or use those bailout points.
Right. Those are there for a reason.
Exactly. And just a quick reminder, no pets allowed on the incline.
Oh, right.
It's just too steep and strenuous for our four-legged friends.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Now, for those who are, really determined to conquer this thing,
Yeah.
any tips on the best time to tackle it?
Yeah, both itineraries recommend starting early, between 6 and 9 a.m.
Okay.
You'll beat the crowds,
Right.
enjoy cooler temperatures,
Makes sense.
and you'll have more daylight for both the ascent and the descent.
So early bird gets the best incline experience.
I think so, yeah,
It sounds like it.
for sure.
Well, I know we've thrown a lot of information at you.
Yeah, we have.
But think of this deep dive as your training manual.
Absolutely.
For the Manitou Incline, use it to plan your adventure, pack your gear,
Yep,
and get ready to push your limits.
you got it.
It's clear that this isn't just a hike.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, a test of endurance, and a truly, truly unique experience.
One of a kind.
So for you, our listener, if you were looking for something that goes beyond, the typical walk in the park,
Right.
the Manitou Incline might be just what you need.
But remember, prepare thoroughly, respect the mountain, and most importantly, listen to your body.
All great advice.
The reward, those breathtaking views from the summit, will be worth every step.
And speaking of rewards, here's a final thought to leave you with. After you've conquered the incline, would you rather relax amidst the stunning red rock formations of the Garden of the Gods?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know, right? Or take a thrilling ride up Pikes Peak on the Cog Railway?
That's a tough choice.
It is a tough choice.
But either way, you'll be capping off an incredible adventure.
Absolutely.
Keep exploring and happy hiking.
Couldn't have said it better myself.